Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, at last, ICM's very latest kit, first kit of major release of 2025. I think they were hoping to have it out. It was kind of released in December, of course, but just arrived literally hot from the courier for me. Just arrived in the UK, so I'm probably going to be one of the first people to get his hands on this here anyway. It's the Black Hawk, the MH-60L Black Hawk, the US Special Forces helicopter, as was used, for example, in the operation against Osama bin Laden and many others. And of course, it was famously in Black Hawk Down and all that kind of stuff in Mogadishu over in Africa. And it's been used all over the world by the American forces, the US Army. I think the Marines use a version of it. And forgive me, I'm not an expert on helicopters, and if I make any technical faux pas about helicopters and their operation, please forgive me, it's not my area of expertise. I can walk you around Formula 1 cars in enormous detail, helicopters less so. But anyway, I'm beaming you because I'm delighted to get this so quickly. So it's kit number 48360. Before we get into that though, I just mentioned to you that they've also delivered me, and I've deliberately avoided mentioning this on my channel so far about the ICM catalogue. You know, again, I'm not on social media. I wasn't the first to know about it by miles. I was probably one of the last, actually, because I'm not on social media. I didn't get the news that way. I don't care really anyway. I don't really like looking on the website and doing, so many people have done a video about this, but I'd rather have it in my hand and actually flick through it with you so you can see what the catalogue's actually like. But we'll do that later. Today we're going to focus on this one because it's the big one that we've been waiting for. It's like a New Year present for us all. First of all, we've got the incredible paint set. They've sent us the wonderful acrylic paint set, especially for this kit. And again, definitely a must-have item. So it's item number 3067, the Black Hawk US helicopter set. And in it we've got the black, the sky grey, German grey, light earth, and US dark green. And on the side we've got all those colours shown. And it has a gloss varnish included as well. And then we've got two examples. I'm sure you'll see these options within the actual model, the colour callouts and the instructions, and you can see clearly there that's a couple of different paint schemes you can have, all from this set. A must-have and retailing at well under £20. Strongly recommend you would consider getting that paint set for your Black Hawk. Now the Black Hawk is going to be retailing at around about the £65 mark. Again, I always say give or take £5–10 either way, because different retailers get different deals from the importers or whatever, and it varies around the world in your own territory, of course. But let's get straight into it without further ado. Let's have a look on the side. First of all, give you the description. So it's actually incredibly light, this box. I'm a little bit worried about it. It's sealed, so there can't be any parts missing, so maybe it's just the fact that it's 48 scale and it's not that big a kit as we might perceive it to be. Obviously done it 35th scale, that would be a different thing, it would be quite a monster. Anyway, it says 100% new molds for ICM's first of the Black Hawk family of helicopters. Special operations variant. What was it? Operation Zero Dark 30, wasn't it? The operation against Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. It says features detailed interior, precise geometry, dual aerial refueling system, the big probe on it, dual options, configurable troop compartment, and has removable seats. It includes decals for 3 variants for marking. Ooh, it's got 302 parts, so yeah, not too many, so that's probably why it's not as heavy. So that's probably a good thing. Right, on the side though, we have got, here we go, and we've got 3 different options. They are the SOAR, Special Operations, I'll get into that in a second. So we've got the Panamax 2011, the ABN Tennessee 2007, and the SOAR ABN 2012, and all this will be explained, I think, when we get into the box. Get a bit of history out of it. And let's have a look at another gem coming in from ICM. Again, first at the new year with something absolutely brand new. Yeah, well, they were my kits of the year, manufacturer of the year. And as somebody pointed out to me, somebody said, I think this summed it up very well actually. One of the gentlemen that was in the comments said, my kits of the year at the end, and he said your kits of the year this year is quite top heavy, not top heavy, he said, It's quite heavy with ICM kits, but for very good reason. For very good reason, because they had the most new kits and the best, frankly. Certainly amongst the best of the ones that came out in 2024. So, another year, another kit arrives. Let's have a look what we've got here. Bear with me because it's a bit tricky. We have this really good tape to use, which is not to be complained about. It helps to keep your model in great condition. It arrives. Just takes a little bit of tweaking to get it. You really do it tightly, which is the good thing for your model kit. Gosh, I'm over there. Come on. It's just a little bit. I think my blade's getting a bit past its sell by date. One more here, one more. Okay, I think we're about to be in. There we go. So that's it. Let's go. Hope you're all enjoying 2025 so far. And by the way, I had a wonderful, very nice message that came. One or two of you may have seen this. I had a very lovely message from the MD of ICM, Valeria, saying that she hopes my health improves and all this kind of thing, and thanking me for saying it was an honour that they were picked as the best kit 2024. I think that I later saw that many other people had the same view, so I think that I got it right. I got it right this time. Okay, so there weren't many people disputing it. Let's put it that way. Let's have a look what we got then. So we actually just got one bag. Yes, it's a fairly big helicopter. I think they've actually done it in a fairly straightforward way. You've got to remember it's 48 scale, not a huge kit. So let's have a read of what they're going to tell us here. They always have this excellent history, don't they? So this is the L version, the Special Operations version. At the end of 1968, the US Army awarded contracts for several companies for the development of a multi-role tactical transport helicopter. The program was called UTTAS, Utility Tactical Transport Air System. In 1976, after completing the tests, the Army selected Sikorsky as the winner of the UTTAS program, and a contract was signed for the production of the first batch of helicopters, which was designated the UH-60A Black Hawk. Sikorsky's series designation was S-70, just confusing. These became the basis for a whole family of helicopters for various purposes: transport, special operations, electronic warfare, naval, multi-role, anti-submarine, medical and more. The MH-60L modification is the Special Operations helicopter for the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, SOAR, there we go, of the US Army, known as the Night Stalkers. The helicopter is equipped with weather radar and a forward-looking infrared FLIR sensor. It can also be fitted with an air refueling system. Fuselage length 16.3 metres. The full length, including the rotor, is 20.25. Height 5.5. It's not that huge, is it, on the height? Empty weight 5.6 tonnes. Again, it's only the weight of a couple of sort of big Range Rovers, isn't it? Maximum takeoff weight 12 tonnes. It's quite powerful, isn't it? Engines 2 700 GE, each with 1890 horsepower. So you've got, you know, the best part of 3,700 horsepower. Wow, okay. That's a lot of power. Maximum speed 165 kilometres, that's 110, 115 mile an hour. That's fairly rapid, isn't it? Bearing in mind it's a helicopter. Well, there we go. So, it tells you here, of course, that you need the set of the paints, 3067, which is there, as you can see. And then getting into the actual instructions themselves, we have got, let me just brighten my lighting a bit more. There we go. So we've got our sprue map, sprue tree map. On this version, I think we're going to be using pretty much everything. There are going to be other versions coming out. I think there's at least another two scheduled quite soon. You've got all of your parts on the main sprues there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 sprues, 5 because one of them's doubled. And then another one, so that's 7, that's doubled as well. And then we've got the clear parts. And it looks like they haven't gone for any silly split windscreens like, sadly, Airfix have had some feedback that hasn't been all that positive on their windscreens, but on their things like the Chinooks and the Puma, one or two of the other helicopters they've done. It's best if you can do it in one piece, I've got to say. It can cause a lot of problems otherwise. Anyway, we will see what we have got. So, building up, you first of all got your instrumentation and the console at the front. and then you've got all the main switch gear and lower instruments and controls between the pilot and co-pilot here. You've got rudder pedals, which obviously controls the tail rotor basically, doesn't it? And then you've got your control stick, I should say. Control sticks here. You've got your seats coming in, being built up here. They look quite lightweight seats, relatively speaking. Then you've got your, what they call it, the collective. This is where I'm getting straining my knowledge here because I'm not a helicopter man. The collective, isn't it? The thing that sort of mixes the pitch and the angle of the blades. And then we've got some sort of what looks like stowage bins here going in, and then you've got the start of the rear compartment being built up here, complete with what looks like the rear bulkhead behind the pilot and co-pilot. It's actually the side rather than the rear bulkhead, sorry. So it's the side, like armour plated interior, isn't it? Interior and exterior. Then you've got your, it goes into the floor obviously, then you've got your various mountings, and there's quite a few decals going in here as well. So interestingly, this is for the instrumentation that's further back, controlling things like, I think it controls the guns, because I think the guns have the option of being maybe remote controlled. I'm not sure about that, we'll find out in a minute. Then you've got the seats going in here, building up all your seats. Now if any of you have seen the ICM animation of their instructions, it's brilliantly done, I've got to say. And on that, all these basically get attached to the roof. So you're attaching it to the roof, effectively. So this is upside down, so you need to be aware of this. It might look very strange when you see it here, but that's the roof. And you're attaching the seats into the roof, and then you're going to turn it upside down because they're all going to be suspended later. And you'll see this over here. So there's a lot of tiny parts, I've got to say, a little bit fiddly. So then you're going to basically turn that upside down. It doesn't really explain it, but you turn it upside down here, and then the seats are in the right way up. And then you're going to do the same again here. You then turn the whole assembly upside down again. Not the clearest, if I'm honest. They should be showing it rotated. I think if I was knocking Airfix for their canopy, cockpit windscreen. Here they are very, very good Airfix. I have to be fair. They would show that and leave you no doubt how you go about it and rotate it. I think there needs to be a thing that's saying you rotate this back. A little bit confusing, just visually. And then here, this looks like it's been rotated. See, again, you can prove my point. Between here and here, you've rotated it back the other way up, but it doesn't really tell you that, does it? So, yeah, maybe ICM can just have a think about the way they're presenting the info. Small criticism there. I just think it's a little bit, if you watch that video, it makes it absolutely clear, but without the video, it's not really made that clear here in the written instructions. Here we've got some of the front side windows, observation windows going in. Then you've got your bulkhead behind the cockpit area. Then you've got the base of the rotor mounting here, and then that's going in on top of the whole cockpit assembly. And then you're doing the opposite side of your fuselage over on the starboard side. Here we've got this. It's fairly straightforward, the assembly though. Once you get your head around that business about turning it upside down. You've got your tail rotor, and that's going in there, and then you've got your tail wheel, because it has a permanent extended tail wheel on this chopper. A few holes to drill in the floor for various mountings, including there is a clear panel. Not sure if that's it's a mounting panel, isn't it, at the front there? Don't think it's clear on that particular one. Then we have got yeah, it has like a surveyor. This is the forward infrared pod. It was talking about the observation camera pod thing, the FLIR. That goes in here into the bottom, under the bottom of the floor, and you've got your horizontal stabilizers going in there under the tail rotor, and then you've got more of these radar, forward-looking radar at the front here, going in on the nose. And then you're bringing in this, we talked about the canopy or windscreen, being in one piece, which is an absolute godsend, and I'm sure anybody who's been building things like the Airfix Chinook will know what I'm talking about, but there we go. You've got your side doors going in with your windows in the side. And then we're going to build up these massively powerful engines with 1800 horsepower piece. They're big chunky engines, aren't they? The turbojet engine, aren't they? and basically lots of armour plating around them to prevent them from ground fire, getting hit by ground fire. Those all go in here. And again, if you watch this animation, which I'll leave you a link actually in the description for this ICM zone animation of the instructions. If you watch that and then go back to the instructions here, you'll find it an absolute doddle, I'm sure. Just one or two of these instructions they do, without the benefit of that, it can be a little bit harder to follow. So anyway, that's all clear once you've seen the vid. And you've got, I mean, I don't sound like I'm criticising them. If only everybody did a video like that. They're amazing, those videos. They're mind-blowing, really. It's like our friend Tom Gregat and his videos. It's like one of those, but done as an assembly video. Anyway, you've got your roof going on then. And then you've got what look like parts of the nose and the antennas going on there. Sorry, it's the roof, I beg your pardon. Not the nose, it's the roof section above the cockpit. A couple of probes and pitos and things on it. Side door here with a couple of windows. Same on the opposite side. And you've got like a sliding window that slides, main door, access door, and then you've got some smaller doors here, crew door. I think they're actually only windows, aren't they, rather than doors? Yeah, it's a window. This is for the gunner's position. And then over here you're going to move on to your main gear. And again, you've got the gunner's position on the opposite side. Then you've got this huge, great, can't miss this, can you? There's a refueling probe, which is absolutely massive, which goes under it, which enables it to refuel from an aircraft or another chopper. I think, does it use a basket system? I think it uses a basket system, not quite sure. And then over here we've got the actual main gear legs coming together and being fitted. I mean, that refueling probe looks like a really great cannon, doesn't it? Actually, like a huge gun. It isn't. It's just a refueling probe, but it looks like a tank cannon gun, you know. And then we've got some headlights. Obviously, it has lights underneath, and we've got a couple of pitos. I don't know if it has any photo etch. I don't think it does. They almost look a bit photo etchy, but you've got the aerials and the antennas going underneath for the radio system, and you've got various little intakes. You've got camera mountings and things like that on the side, quite interesting. Again, think of Zero Dark 30, I think they recorded quite a lot of data and documentation. Then you've got your great big cannon going in here. It's the electric cannon, isn't it? Is it the GAU cannon? GAU 7, is it? A bit like... It's not quite the same as the one, it's not as big as the one that's on the Thunderbolt, is it? But it's one of these ones that they developed from the Vietnam guns, I think. Electric cannon, based on the Vulcan cannon, I think. And that is on like a pivoting arm, so they can pivot it into different positions and spray rounds everywhere, basically. Same on the opposite side, so it's very heavily armoured, isn't it? Then you've got this sort of extension to your probe for the refuelling arm here, and you've then got some of the final parts of the rotor assembly, or mounting I should say, for the rotor assembly going in. You've got the air sensors and pitos that are going on the back spine, and then you've got your main sort of swash plate rotor assembly here coming together there, and the sort of lower and upper adjustable plates that adjust the pitch. The swash plate adjusts the pitch of the actual blades themselves, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then finally you bring in your blades onto your mounting point, and then you have your finished Black Hawk. Wow! And very helpfully they've gone and given you a nice mask set. Quite a few here. Not sure. I would have preferred a mask set, but I keep saying that, I know. I would have preferred a mask set. It's something I'd like ICM to develop in the future, because we know with Target doing it. Something I might ask them about again. But it shows the positions of all the masks, and if they are the right size, which I believe they probably will be now, because I think they've taken on board some of the feedback about dimensions. And then finally we've got our colour callouts. So we've got, this is the first one, which is at the Airborne Regiment based in Tennessee, 160th SOAR. Then we've got them on Operation Exercise Panamax in 2011. Again, very similar looking chopper, if we're honest. And again, colour wise, very similar again. Interesting to note that because this is the special operations, they're all in this sort of very dark, well, it's black, isn't it, basically? So you may say, well, hang on a minute, didn't you mention there was dark green? Well, of course, they're bringing out at least 3 versions of this that I know about. And the other version for the US Army is going to be the dark green. What do they call it? US dark green. So this one is the black, special ops. Black ops, black chopper, of course. Right, so put that away. That's very nice instructions. Just only criticism there would just be that business about flipping and mounting of you mount the seats upside down. It doesn't make that abundantly clear to my eye. Anyway, perhaps you think differently. I don't know. There's quite a few stencils and lovely instruments. Look at this in the decals. Look at these. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of huge amount of stickers on it, really. It basically has black stickers on a black chopper, so that they'll very quickly disappear. But of course, they'll have a slightly different finish. But if we look here, you can see your main instruments, your central instruments between the 2 crew members in the cabin, cockpit. And then you've got all these side instruments, plus the ones that are used for operating the doors and the winch and all that kind of thing. Because it has a winch, I think, doesn't it? Does it have a winch? I'm pretty sure it does. I think it's a bit more... It's not an obvious one that sticks out like it does on some things like Sea Kings, you know. And then you've got your regular sort of normal marking stencils, which again, I don't know about whether they're 100% essential in some respects, because I'm sure over time that these, given the way that they were actually created, don't think they were necessarily very visible after a year or two. These, I think it's just the nature of the beast, really. And they have a very sort of crude, in white, marking to just denote which chopper it is, numbered like 34 here or 62, just to show its particular squadron marking, so to speak. So there's your decals. So without further ado, I've just got to say, by the way, that I'm talking away here, and I think I'm feeling a bit better health-wise. A lot of you have been asking me about that. I feel a lot more chipper, and you might notice my speech is much more, as it used to be, a bit more flowing. Over the Christmas period, a few of these videos you've been watching recently, I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm really frightened of biting my tongue. I'll go into the details, obviously. But yeah, I feel my speech is much more fluent and much more normal again and flowing again like it used to be. So I'm hoping that we're touching the wood. I'm still waiting for my test results, but if it wasn't good news, I think they'd have been in touch with me already, because it's now a month since I was with them, so having my little procedures. Less said about that, the better, really. Anyway, let's see what ICM have provided here. This is a real treat. It's like Santa has come to visit me again. Alrighty ho. So we've got some blades. We'll look at the blades first, I think. We have got... How many blades should there be? There should be 4 blades. Oh, there it is. I thought we were short of one for a minute then. Right, so we'll look at the blades first. And obviously there's 4 of them. Let me just have a slight rearrangement here for your viewing pleasure. With me, and we'll have a bit better view, I think, if I do this. Alright, now then, let's have a look at these blades for you. Yeah, okay, well they look great, actually, I've got to say straight away. They've got a really nicely moulded sort of leading edge there, don't you can see that? And the trailing edge as well. They've done that really well. Get a bit closer, I think. There we go. There's this. So there's obviously 4 of these that are all the same. Just trying to remember what it looks like in terms of the... They have this, yeah, that's the end, isn't it? So this is the, sorry, this is the outer end where they have this canted blade. The actual chopper blade is actually canted over. So you've got 4 of those, obviously, quite a few to keep you going. So that's a nice thing, and it's there's no warpage or anything like that. They all look really nicely moulded in. No problems there. So that's a good start. I think we'll move on and now look at the clear parts, which on helicopters can really make or break a kit for a lot of people. I know, speaking to chopper enthusiasts in terms of modelers, oops, I know some people get get quite upset if the clear parts are not, because they're quite big and very obvious on the chopper, aren't they? It's very, very, you know, a very critical part of it. And I've got to say, as I expected, ICM with their little magic man that does all these clear parts for them, I think they've triumphed yet again. Have a look at this. These look really nice. Yeah, I think we have another winner on our hands here. No split screens where you've got to try and glue two sides together, anything like that. That's very, very nice. And you've got these here are the lower windows. Oops. These are the lower windows down near the footwell, sort of enable the view out. I'm not sure what they see through there really. It's in a funny position to me because I think it's just maybe to judge the ground distance more than anything else when they're landing. Because I don't see it has much other purpose when they're in flight really. I can't see the pilot squinting down there. It's right at his feet, you know, in a slightly awkward angle. So I think it's more to judge the distance to the ground on landing. Here you've got your main door windows in the side. And again, these are really good. I mean, these are right up there with the best, these are. Very, very crisp. Actually, I just realised, I beg your pardon, I was wrong. This is the little windows I was talking about. These ones I was thinking I was talking about are actually in the co-pilot and pilot's doors. Oh, sorry, that's the pilot's on that side. That's the co-pilot. So, I mean, these are as good as you'd ever hope to see. I think that's beautiful. Yes, absolutely gorgeous clear parts. Just what we've come to expect from ICM recently. They're very bright. They're kind of quite scale-like in the thickness. Super clear. There's no marks on them. There's no scratches or any of that stuff. It's just gorgeous, really. So, if it was just down to the clear parts, that'd be a 10 out of 10 straight away. And yeah, I think other manufacturers could learn from this. You know, even Tamiya sometimes, because theirs can be a little bit thick looking, I think, occasionally. Sometimes they don't quite always look to scale. Just thinking about that Mark 1 Spitfire that they did in 48. But anyway, we'll stick with ICM today. That is lovely. So that's that one. Now let's get into the chopper itself. So, oh, they've done a nice job with this. They've aced it again, I think. Look at this. I mean, the rivets and things look so right, if you know what I mean, scale-wise. Look at this. Yeah, you can feel the rivets, but they don't feel overly huge. They just feel right. Size-wise, you just feel that they're there. Oh, that's nice. They've done a great job here. Look at the detail here. The tail. It's got a sensor at the back, hasn't it? Is it a sensor? Or is that? No, it's just it's a cooling. Sorry, it's not a sensor. It's a cooling vent in the main drive hub for the tail rotor. It's actually a vent. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. It's just slightly ventilated. And then you've got your horizontal stabilizers here. Beautifully moulded, though, isn't it? Look at that. It's kind of almost Tamiya-like, is this, I'd say. There's one or two marks within the plastic, but it isn't on the surface. These are just mould. It's just where the plastic's cooled after melting at different rates, but it's all about the tool with these guys. And they do such a beautiful job with these tools. And we know that they've lost 2 or 3 of their tool makers have had to go off to the war. I just hope they come back, really do. Because these guys are right up there with the best, aren't they? You know, it's got every little hatch very finely moulded. It's got a lovely contour to it. Just feels right. You've got an access hatch there. Yeah. That's so nice, aren't they? And you've got your tail. That's the boss for the tail rotor. So that other one, the other side was basically the housing. That is gorgeous. Really, really nice. Of course it has a rudder, which we haven't seen yet, but that's very, very nice indeed. So that's a brilliant start. Oh, we've got a seat off. One of the, I think it may be the pilot's seat, is it? Or is it one of the others? Or is it one of the general seats? No, I think it's... No, I think I'm wrong. It's not a seat. It just looks like one. It's one of those covers actually on the outside, on the engine bell cover, armour plating basically. That's just popped off. Then we've got the, and again, you know, this moulding here is absolutely lovely. Look at this. Here's the floor for the actual main cockpit and the actual crew compartment. And then you've got your the rotor drive housing there. Yeah, actually that's broken off, unfortunately. I just realised that the part I was just looking at, it's actually broken. Can you see that? It's actually, this is the other one from the one I just showed you. So yeah, it's actually broken, a bit stressed. Where's it gone? There. So it goes there. It's just broken off at the top now, look. Not to worry. I'm sure it's easily fixed. That'll be the my favourite parcel force mailman. Roughly handling it, I expect. I would just say that to ICM, this one was because it was not so much in the bag. It was able to move around quite a lot, which has probably contributed to it as well. And here we've got our turbines for the actual gas turbines for the engines, which is nice, isn't it? And we've got the outer. This is the outer for where the gunner's compartment, the gunner's window is, I should say, because he sort of leans out of a window. Excuse me. And you've got the chin, and here we've got. This is the top of the roof, obviously. This is the bit that goes over it that I thought was the nose and isn't. Over on this side we've got our tail rotor, and again, one piece, beautifully executed this. Look at that. Isn't that nice? That's been done really well. And then we've got the internal, it's actually the roof, isn't it? It's the roof, not the floor. Because it's got some instruments above the heads. That's in the roof. And we've got the doors here. The pilot's and the co-pilot door. And then you've got the lower fuselage here. And again, you know, very finely crafted. Look at these lovely hinges in the front of the door. Look. Looks like a car, doesn't it? Really well done, that. And again over here we've got some absolutely beautiful detailed moulding, little hatches and access hatches, etc. Superb, superb. And then we have a small sprue here, zoom you out for. And this has got a lot of little parts. So this has got there's actually two of these. So this has got the main gear legs and the not the leg, the main gear wheels, I should say. Main gear wheels, am I right there? I'm just double checking. I'm not telling you some rubbish. Just trying to decide which is the tail. No, it is the main. I'm right. It's the main gear. It's just that they're only shown one half of one of the wheels and tyres, and they've split them into different sections. They've got, so it's the outer wheel that you see here. If I zoom you in a bit more, probably see some very nice detail within the hub of the wheel itself. And then you've got all sorts of small parts here, including your electric cannon there. Look at that monster. Whoa. Yeah, these things fire, what is it? Over 800 rounds a minute, I think, isn't it? It's a huge amount of fire rate. Scary. And I'm just wondering where the muzzle is. Is the muzzle on this sprue? I think it might be somewhere else. Don't think it includes the muzzle. And you've got little windscreen wipers. You've got all these are the seat supports, stays that hold the seat to the roof. That looks like the trickiest part of the kit, actually, getting those seats mounted in. I think you need to take your time, treat it like tank tracks. A labour of love. That's that. And then we have another one that's got the 2 sets of sprues. And this has got the frames for the seats, as you can see there. And we've got some of the seats themselves. That's one of the cockpit, pilots, co-pilot seats, and then the other seats you can see here are the ones for the troops. And they don't get quite such a comfy seat, obviously. Just struggling with this. I think that might be the muzzle where my thumb is. I think that's the muzzle of the cannon. Alright? Kind of hard to tell. I think it might be. Not too sure. I think it is. Then we've got the tail wheel here, of course. And quite a lot of smaller parts to do with the rotor system. And there's 2, as I say, there's 2 of this sprue. This is duplicated. And then last but not least, zoom you out because this is a big one. Then we have the final sprue. In this case, it is actually sprue C I'm showing, and you've got the main base of the rotor system, swash plates for the rotor, which controls the pitch and angle. Which obviously controls the helicopter ultimately. Then we have got, just looking around, see which parts I recognise. You've got your boom here and your various probes on the front here, radar probes. You've got your big boom here for your refueling probe. Main gear legs here. And then you've got your FLIR sensor, rotating, gimbaling head. And you've got the swash plate controller plate here. Then you've got, this is the inner wheels now. You can see the brake details if you look at those inner wheels and tyres. And then you've got all the others around it are the seat bases for the seats for the troops in the back, the troop compartment. You've got your antenna. This is nicely moulded, isn't it? The antenna here for underneath the main fuselage at the back toward the tail. And at the top there, top mounting for the where the actual rotor head drive unit comes out. And then ultimately here, this is the tip of your probe for your refueling probe. Isn't that nice? That is very, very nice. What a lovely kit. Wow. Wow. Yeah, well, I don't know what to say really. It's they've done a fine job of it, haven't they? I mean, what I like about this as well is that, and I'm speaking as a not really a helicopter kit builder, if I'm honest. Although I do intend to make that Cobra that they did, because I've still got that in my stash. I've got a couple of those and they're really nice. But they've not overly complicated it. I know there's some fine parts, yes there are, but there's not that many. You know, I thought it was going to. I was worried about this. I thought it's going to be millions of parts. 300 parts. It's not too bad. It's kind of what you'd expect for a 48 scale detail kit for a helicopter without being completely stupid and over the top. So I think they've done a really fine job with that. I mean, the moulding is really, really nice. It's a chopper that has fairly smooth, relatively smooth surfaces, apart from all the rivets, of course. But they've done a nice job, and they've got all the detail with the rotor head and the swash plates and all that stuff. They've done it well, haven't they? I'm impressed. I'm impressed. The only thing let it down in my example was that had been broken up. And never mind. It happens. It's just transit, I'm afraid, isn't it? It has come a fair distance, let's be honest. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pop those there together. I'll pop that in there. I'm going to stick them back in the bag while I chew over my verdict. My verdict. What's it going to be? Well, I have to say, I have to knock them a tiny point off because of those instructions. Only because, you know, there's again they haven't been able. I have commented about this in the past. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh boy. I need a drink. It's a bit early for that though. I'm just suffering a bit actually with my, I feel like I'm always moaning about my health, but it's just that it's really cold winter. And I do suffer with asthma. It's just a normal thing for me every winter. And when we have this very icy cold, very thin air, I do feel it a bit, to be honest. I'm sure lots of other people are the same. I haven't actually had any horrible flu or anything like that, which I know lots of people suffer with at the moment. So I can't really complain. Sorry about the crinkling bag. Crinkle, I know that microphone will be giving you hell. Well, that's a lovely kit. Yeah, as I say, the only negative in that kit for me, there's plenty of room in that box. That's why I think it's moved around a bit and it's got a little bit back. I don't know. I don't know if ICM can really afford to put padding in and stuff like that. They normally don't need to, but those instructions where they don't really make it super clear. I mean, I'm sort of giving you a heads up on this. Without my heads up, you might not spot. You might find it quite confusing the way it sort of keeps rotating from top to bottom, inverting the roof, the internals of the helicopter. It doesn't really make it super clear in its instructions, unlike the online video version. Definitely a job of this. There we go. Even too hard for myself. Yeah, the online version that ICM produced, which I'll put a link of down below the video, makes it really clear and easy to follow. But just looking at the written page, it's not as easy, and I think people might find that when it keeps on. Now you're upside down, now you're up. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't really make it very clear. I think perhaps they could work on that. I'll mention it to them. But as a model, that's a lovely kit and another brand new tool. How do they keep doing it? It's just incredible, really. You know, this is why so many people agree with me that they were the best manufacturer last year. They just keep on producing really fantastic kits, and here's another one. So I'm going to give it. I'm only going to knock them off a tiny bit for that. I've already told you, so it's no longer negative for you guys that are watching this. So I'm going to give it 9.75 out of 10, which I think is fair, don't you? A lovely model. There's going to be 2 more variants coming through very soon indeed. One's going to be in the green, and one I think is going to be in the Ukraine markings. And I think it's blue with yellow trim. So that's something to look forward to. A stunning kit. 9.75 out of 10 is where I'm at. So close to a 10. I mean, you can argue it's a 10 once you know the pitfall. You can walk around. You can easily work around it. It's got beautiful clear parts. You know, they've aced it again on the plastic. Absolutely nailed it. And overall, an absolutely fantastic product. Well done yet again. Sound like a stuck record now, but they're doing a brilliant job, aren't they? Don't forget to get yourself the 3067 set of paints, because that'll help you a lot, especially if you intend to buy more than one version. Because I think it'll cover all the versions apart from the Ukrainian one. Certainly the American version, it'll cover both. There we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was interesting. It's nice to see something brand new from them, straight off from the sweaty hands of the courier and straight into my non-sweaty hands, obviously. Thank you to ICM for providing the kit. Another stunning product. Well done. Hope you enjoyed it, thought it was interesting. Stay tuned, we've got some more new kits coming from ICM and other people. And I've also got some very interesting, unusual aftermarket items I'm going to be talking about toward the end of the month. Which I think you'll find, a lot of you will find very interesting indeed. So please stay tuned for that. And of course I will be doing, the next show I'll probably be doing, it's going to be showing you the ICM catalogue itself, in the flesh. Flicking through, see anything that really catches my eye, apart from the obvious ones, of course, that we already know about. And we'll take it from there. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please stay well, stay safe. And until next time, thanks very much for the time you took to watch it. Don't forget to subscribe. Very important. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It costs you nothing, and you'll get, latest notifications when things come up that you'll be interested in. And until next time, thanks a lot. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.